Thank you, Anne. Dear guests, dear Falling Walls Lab stars, dear colleagues, on behalf of the German Research Foundation, DFG, I welcome you most warmly to our Research Insight Day today. You made it to Germany, you made it to Berlin. Some of you might still suffer a little bit, more or less, from some jet lag. It will be better, you will see. But I'm sure you will have a great time here in Berlin, being part of the Falling Walls Summit. I would also like to welcome all those who are joining us via our stream from all over the world. Best greetings from Berlin. My name is Katrin Koos. I'm the director of the Division International Affairs at the DFG headquarters in Bonn. I'm in charge of the administration of our offices abroad, which are, by the way, located in New York and DC, in Delhi, in Tokyo, in Moscow, and in Sao Paulo. So if you have the chance, please feel free to contact and to visit us there as well. This Research Insight Day has become a good tradition organized by our partner, the German Academic Exchange Service and the DFG under the umbrella of Research in Germany. And I'm delighted to be here again in these times of the pandemic, which, you know, we will all try to handle and defeat the best we can. And of course, on behalf of the DFG, I would also like to welcome most cordially our colleagues from the German Research Alliance, namely from the Leibniz Association, the Max Planck Society, the Helmholtz Association, the Fraunhofer Society, the Alexander von Humboldt Foundation, more or less since the colleague unfortunately called in sick today, but still best greetings to the Humboldt Foundation and our special guest from the Berlin Med School, worldwide known as the Charité. Thank you for this excellent cooperation again. This event is traditionally linked to the Falling Walls Summit, and we are totally aware that you have a tough schedule and certainly well prepared. You are facing quite exciting 3 minutes of your pitches tomorrow. So we wish you all much success and most of all, a joyful time on stage tomorrow. But keep in mind, there's more to the Falling Walls Summit and as well to this Research Insight Day. It's also about sharing ideas concerning your scientific career or maybe even your research ideas. It's also about gaining new perspectives by exchange and about enjoying encounters with representatives of world-class science, politics, business and industry, research organizations, as well as research funding organizations and foundations. It's all about networking. And I guess we all share the same enthusiasm for scientific research. And since the German Research Alliance deeply believes that Germany is a great place for research, a country, by the way, that attaches great importance to academic freedom and curiosity-driven research, we will provide you today with the most relevant information concerning funding opportunities in Germany in a nutshell and how to cooperate and integrate being a young researcher. As you will find out, the German research system is quite diverse and there's a lot of individual options for you. All presentations are carefully prepared, but of course we hope you will be eager to learn more. Therefore, there will be time for Q&A at the end of both sessions. Those who will follow us via our stream, if you have questions, please let us know by our chat. We will try to get back to them as well. Before I will hand over the microphone to my tandem partner, Mr. Franke, representing the German Academic Exchange Service, I would like to thank you again for carefully respecting all pandemic-related regulations. And of course, on behalf of the DFG, I would like to express our gratitude to the Berlin-Brandenburgische Akademie der Wissenschaften for hosting us here today. So enjoy our event, and Mr. Franke, the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Frau Koos, for your kind introduction. Dear Falling Web Lab finalists, dear guests, dear colleagues, a warm welcome to all of you in Berlin and here in the Berlin-Brandenburg Academy of Science and Humanities. It is my great pleasure and honor to greet you here today and to open the information session Insights into German Research on behalf of the German Academic Exchange Service. This is the 6th time that this special program for all lab finalists take place. And this is the 2nd time that this event is taking place during the COVID pandemic. Due to that, some of the finalists are not able to participate in presence, but they joined online. I hope they can hear us and can see us. We will try our best to present an exciting program and involve you wherever possible. My name is Kai Franke. I'm heading the DAAD Berlin office, and maybe you know that our headquarters are in Bonn, so we have a small office here in the next building. The key objective of this event is to present the German research landscape to you and to inform about the goals and role of some of its most important actors. You will learn about funding and research opportunities. We will offer presentations in an interactive format, and during our networking lunch and networking coffee breaks, there will be opportunities for on-site participants to raise specific questions. On Monday, during the excursion program, you will have the opportunity to gain some insights about the work of 3 German research institutions, such as Museum für Naturkunde, it's the Leibniz Institute for Evolution and Biodiversity Science, the Berlin-Brandenburg Academy of Science and Humanities, and the Young Academy, die Junge Akademie. The German Academic Exchange Service has been a partner of the Falling Walls Foundation since 5 years, and it supports the Falling Walls Lab format through our worldwide network and the German Centers for Research and Innovation in Moscow, New Delhi, New York, Sao Paulo, and Tokyo. I'm glad that in 2021, the DAAD had organized almost 40 Falling Walls labs around the world. And I'm very pleased that we organized this event again with the German Research Foundation as part of the Research in Germany campaign. It is also a pleasure to see so many of you gathered here today, and I hope that many of you will consider a stay in Germany as a good option, maybe, yeah? I do not mean this day, but maybe next day, yeah? So take the opportunity, network, exchange knowledge, and enjoy. Your big day still is ahead of you, so let me wish you success for tomorrow on behalf of DAAD. I would like to thank the Falling Walls Foundation and the German Research Foundation for the excellent cooperation. And I hope we have managed to put together an interesting and diverse program. To our panelists and experts, I would like to express my gratitude for being here today and for sharing knowledge with us. And also I would like to mention that we have invited 5 lab organizers of this year's lab from Bolivia, Cameroon, Colombia, Ghana, and Namibia. Are you here? Namibia is here, and Colombia is here, and Bolivia also, yeah? Yes, yeah. So, thank you. You were invited because you rapidly organized labs with remarkable success. Thank you for that, and a warm applause to you also. Yeah, I'm looking forward to an exciting day with you. Have a nice time, have a nice day, and the floor is open to Frau Knab again, yeah?
Just a second. My short presentation will be for 15 minutes now, and you can already read what it will be about. It will be about the German research landscape. A quick overview about the research landscape. What I'm going to do is to give you some interesting facts and figures, perhaps something you haven't heard about yet. My aim is to show you that there are many or just to show you where in Germany you could possibly do research if you think it's interesting doing research here. Then I will present some of the German research performing organizations, because there's a broad variety in Germany. Perhaps it's a little bit more complex than in other countries. That's why I would like to explain it to you a little bit more how it works. I will give you some information about research and industry and startups, because I think some of you will be interested in that as well. I will give you a quick overview about research funding organizations and show you where to find more information. So that's what will happen in the next 15 minutes. And like I said, I'm going to start with some facts and figures. So the first fact, there are about 1,000 publicly funded research institutions, and they conduct research in or they do many different kinds of research, basic research, applied research, of course, and many different fields. And there are just many possibilities. Whatever your research focus is, probably you will find also a research organization in Germany for your research focus. Research in Germany is also very well funded. Germany spends about 105 billion euros a year in research, and this is more than 3% of the GDP. There are not so many countries in Europe, for example, who spend that much. So some of the Scandinavian countries do, but as the economy is smaller, the total numbers are also smaller. But so that's just also to give you an impression. And because of the big research sector, there are also about 700 people employed in that sector. And the last figure from this slide is that German research institutions cooperate with 159 countries. So somebody counted the exact number of cooperations with international research institutes. And by this you can be sure if you do research in Germany, you will be also, of course, connected to research organizations in other countries. This is just to show you, to give you a further impression about the research expenditures. So they have grown in the last year since 2005. Just to give you an impression, I don't want to go too much into detail here. So the next slide is also really interesting because this shows how the money is distributed. And you see here that the research expenditure, so the more than 3% of the GDP, comes to 69% from the industry. So this is really an important part of the total research expenditure. And the other two parts of the cake are public funding. Perhaps you're also interested in how many international scientists we have in Germany. And this is not easy to measure, but we have numbers for the universities. And you see there that there are only at the universities, and we have many other organizations apart from the universities that do research, but there are about 50,000 international scientists working currently, and also the numbers are growing since 2007. Now, some more information about the research institutions, for those who don't know yet. The German research sector has a three-pillar base. First of all, we have, of course, also universities. Then we have non-university research institutes, and we have 4 of them here today, and they will present them later in a session. Apart from those big 4, there are also others I will show you later on a short slide. And of course, last but not least, there is the industrial research. And to explain it a little bit more detailed, this is a chart of the different kinds of research institutions, and they can be categorized according to their type of funding and their type of, or the kind of research. Is it basic or is it applied research? And you see here that the universities in Germany are mostly publicly funded, almost only, and they conduct basic research and also applied research. So a few words about the universities. And again, a number for you. So we have 400 higher education institutions in Germany. That also includes University of Applied Science. But of these 400, 156 are authorized to confer doctorates. And there are over 42,000 international doctoral candidates enrolled in Germany. And as you probably know, at German University, there's the principle of uniting learning, instruction, and research. That means, for example, if you're working at a university, you will do research, of course, but you will also teach and be in contact also with students. These are the 4 big non-university research organizations we have in Germany, and we have a representative of those organizations here, of each of them. Unofficially, they are called the Big Four. So I will not go very much into detail here, but just, you know already this chart, and you see that the Max Planck Gesellschaft, Max Planck Society, for example, is publicly funded and conducts basic research, in contrast to the Fraunhofer Gesellschaft that conducts applied research and is also partly privately funded. Okay, and besides those Big Four, we also have further institutions that are non-university, but also publicly funded. And those are the Länder and federal institutions. They also have many researchers working there, and also international research. That might be interesting for you as well, if you're interested in having a research stay here. They are the Länder and federal institutions responsible for giving advice to the government. So their research is very practically oriented. Also, it can be basic research, but always with the goal to give useful advice to the government, federal or Länder governments. And last but not least, we also have academies in Germany, but they play a little bit a different role than in some other countries. Here they, for example, are especially responsible for long-term research projects. And here, right now, we are also at an academy, and on Monday you will hear some more information from the Berlin-Baden-Württemberg Akademie der Wissenschaften. So that's the German name, in short, BBAW, but you will hear a presentation by them on Monday. Okay, we already talked about industrial research. Of course, industrial research is only applied research, only privately funded, because it's also has such a big share of the research expenditure in Germany. Just give you some more information about that. I mentioned it already, 69% of the research funding comes from business and industry, and the most innovative sectors in Germany are pharmaceuticals, electronics, automotive engineering, and mechanical engineering. And okay, this slide is a little bit complicated, but you see on this slide the research and development investment of the 2,500 companies in the world with the highest research expenditures. So the most innovative companies worldwide. And the expenditure of the German companies accounts for 10% of this whole share. Germany comes with that, or the German companies, not Germany, but the German companies that are in this list, behind the USA, then Japan and China, and then it's Germany with 10%, just to give you an impression what that means, also in comparison to other countries. If we compare the research expenditures of the European companies and corporations, there are 11 German companies in the list of the top 20 European innovation drivers, and the first 5 ranks of those top 20 are also occupied by German companies. And this is the list of the companies that are, the German companies that are in those top 20. So next slide, also just again to give you an impression, patent registrations perhaps are also an interesting figure. So you see here that Germany always had a very high number compared to other really innovative countries of patent registrations until 2010. We had the most and compared to UK, Japan, USA, and South Korea since 2017. So the numbers of Japan have grown in the last years. We are in second place, but I think it's still, it shows it is really a high number also of patent registration in Germany. So some of you I know are interested in founding a startup, and I can tell you that Germany is also a good place for founding a startup. In 2017, innovative startups in Germany raised 2.1 billion venture capital. So this is also a considerable amount of funds that are available here. There are in total 605,000 startups. 13% of them are international entrepreneurs, and 15% of them are scientific spin-offs. Some of the funding lines, I will just talk only shortly about this, but the exist funding program, it has 3 different funding lines, and perhaps the business startup grant is the most interesting for you. You can apply for this if you have a German host university. So they need to bring in the application. And if you found this and you receive the scholarship, you have a scholarship for 1 year. I mean, it's written here. You can receive up to 3,000 per month, up to 30,000 for materials and equipment, and up to 5,000 for coaching. So this is a funding line that might be relevant, but there are also 2 others. We have also, we can talk about this also later, but just to give you a first impression. Another funding program or funding line is the High-Tech Gründerfonds. I think it's a founder fund, translated. And it's Germany's biggest investor when it comes to early stage funding of innovative technology-oriented new businesses, just that you have heard it once. So up to 1 million is the funding in the seed phase, and up to 2 million in the follow-up phase. Just to give you an impression. And with this, I would like to close this topic and talk shortly about the funding institutions in Germany, the public funding institutions and foundations. So you can also, again, categorize them a little bit. There are the big research funding organizations or funding institutions, like the German Academic Exchange Service. For example, I'm also from the German Academic Exchange Service. We mainly have funding for the mobility of researchers. And we will have a presentation about the DAAD later on. There's also the German Research Foundation that my colleagues do come from. They have a lot of project funding, but also some other funding programs. They will explain this later. And then we have the Alexander von Humboldt Foundation. They also have funding for mobility, mostly for senior scientists. The colleague from the Alexander von Humboldt Foundation who wanted to come here today couldn't come, but we have. If you have questions about that, you can approach us also later if you're interested. The Big Four also have their own funding. That's why they are listed here. And apart from that, we also have private and public foundations that also have research funding. And this is just, again, to give you a quick overview. And with this I would like to come to the sources of information. And I think I will skip to the next slide because the funding guide, because I was talking about the different funding organizations. And at this funding guide website, all of those organizations have also listed their funding programs. It's a website by the DAAD, but you can also search for other programs there. Almost all of the funding programs are here. So, by the way, I will also, if you're interested in the slides, you can have them. So we can send them to you afterwards. I'm not only from the DAAD, I'm also from the Research in Germany initiative. And we also have, the aim of the initiative is to inform international scientists about their research opportunities in Germany. And We have many booklets, for example, funding your research in Germany. There are the most important programs are listed here. They are all online. You can find all information also online. And of course, we have a very informative website with a lot of content. And for example, also one page about, or several pages about funding programs. And now coming back to the interesting websites and databases, I don't want to explain every of those, or Research in Germany, of course, is just of the initiative, the website. A further very interesting website is the GRID.org, which is a website or a database for German research institutions. So now you heard there are so many institutions, but if you just want to know where your kind of research is conducted, you can search for that here and you will get a list of institutions that do this. So might be useful. I think that's all for now. I hope I didn't give you too much information, but if you keep just those things in mind, just that there are many opportunities, many different research organizations that perform research in Germany, and we have also a lot of funding for research, and if you're looking for more information, you can find it online or just ask me, write me an email or talk to me today. Thank you for your attention. With this, with these words, I would like to kindly ask our next panelists or speakers to come to the stage. The funding organizations of the program point Funding Opportunities in a Nutshell. This would be Dorothea Fendel from the German Research Foundation and Annika Riesenhues from the German Academic Exchange Service. And just come over, I think you can just come over. And Mr. Moham, he is a DAAD scholarship holder. Thanks. So each of them will hold a short presentation now, and then we have a Q&A session after that.
Smells disinfected. Perfect. Yes, welcome everybody. My name is Doro Fendel. You met me downstairs at the check-in. And I'm here on behalf of the German Research Foundation. And I have the greatest respect for all of you who are able to present your topics in 3 minutes and have done so. So we set the time to 5 minutes. I start my timer now, and I hope that I can hold up with that. Well, okay, I should speed up. We are located in Bonn. DFG is located in Bonn, which you all know is the former capital of Germany, or acting capital of Germany, until the fall of the wall, the Berlin Wall. So we have some connection to this day too. You know Ludwig van Beethoven, the famous composer, and all of you know Haribo, which is also from Bonn. And since this was the former capital, there's still a lot of German fundings or research-connected organizations located there in Bonn. So I would like to introduce you today, what is the German Research Foundation? What can we do for funding opportunities for international collaboration? And how to find a research partner for projects in Germany. Who are we? We are Europe's largest non-governmental research funding organization. That means we are not performing research ourselves, even if it's in our name, but we're funders. And we're very rarely funding private sector institutions or initiatives. This is just some division of tasks that we have here in Germany. You will hear some other opportunities later on. DFG is able to distribute about 10% of this research funding that comes from public sources. In 2019, this added up to around 3.3 billion euro that went into research funding. We use this to fund excellent research projects and to create a framework for corporations, for national and international corporations. And this is why I'm standing here today. This is a German research foundation, so it's mostly approachable for German-based researchers, but these researchers need international partners to do their excellent works, and this could be you on some point of your career. And you see what Anna already mentioned, this division of tasks between DFG, DAAD, and Alexander from Humboldt Foundation. DFG is centering on projects, looking into the accident project. The DAAD is looking at the mobility, how to build the bridges, how to bring people together, how to bring some movement into the research area. And Alexander von Humboldt Foundation is focusing on building networks, on finding people. And if I may stop the timer here for a second, because they're not here today, I can really recommend to look at their website, Humboldt Info. It's for those, most of their programs are aimed at postdocs, at more senior researchers, but as well, they have a lot of ambassadors. They have an ambassador network, an alumni network in most countries. So there should be someone approachable in your country. And look at their programs. If you're interested in spending some time in Germany, Humboldt Foundation could be a very good idea to look at. So back to DFG. Okay, I'm absolutely lost at my time here. DFG is focusing on bottom-up choice of research topics. We are very rarely giving out calls, and we are not setting budgets, neither to fields, nor to regions, or nor to international partners. We don't have the action year of some world region, but we trust our scientists that they hand in the project that they want to pursue, and they design these projects with the partners they want to choose, international partners, for example, at the time they think it's ready to go. So this is why we can work and work mostly without calls. All applications from every field come in at the same time whenever they're ready, and they are all viewed in competition and by peers. So it's not the German Research Foundations, me and the 799 colleagues at Bonn and Berlin who are going through all the applications. It's the researchers themselves who are sitting there in review boards and looking at each other's applications. And this is why we have a division of tasks as well in the organization. We have a lot of departments. These are the two most important from my point of view. The yellow box is the scientific affairs departments. We have over 100, we call them scientific program directors, people who have done their PhD and some postdoc work in their own field. So all the fields you listed there mean that there are people who have been in your shoes, who have written their own proposals, and when they look at applications coming in, they know how to assess them, they know how to bring them into the review process. And then you see this other department who has a lot of different tasks, and one of them is international affairs. This is where me and my colleagues from DFG today are located. We have several regional teams, and we have the offices that Katrin Koos already mentioned. These are also regional offices. So North America means the whole of North America. Latin America is based in Sao Paulo, but it's of course there for Argentina, for Chile, for Peru, wherever you're from. So who can apply for funding at DFG? Researchers who have completed their scientific training. In most cases, we would count that at a finished doctorate, from all disciplines of any age. And that's the crucial point here, working in German research institutions. It's not about nationality, but about connections to the German research system. So most of you who are working and doing research from abroad cannot apply directly, but you would need a German partner and find a partnership, and then we will see that in the funding options. There's a lot of funding there for the international side of this. So you might ask why we are not working with calls, and this is really crucial to our work. If you're waiting for a call, then it's a bit like waiting for a train. It's the set direction, the project has to fit in, you need to meet the deadline, and if it's gone, it's gone. And we think that researchers sometimes don't need a train, they need a bicycle, or a moon rocket, or a ship. So all DFG funding lines are built modular, so that the researcher or the researching team can pick and choose what they need. And there's always some opportunity to set in some international funding in there, to invite a partner, to travel abroad, to have a workshop with partners. So all these programs that you see here always have the opportunity to just click in some international work. And I picked 4 of them that I would shortly introduce to you. The first one is the initiation of international collaboration. That is not yet a research funding project. This is really a mobility and sandbox tool instrument. So the German partner applies a DFG for traveling money, for mobility money, for both partners. So he or she could invite you or travel to your point. And so you have the time, about 1 year of funding, to find out, okay, we think we are interesting for each other, but how exactly? how could this project work? What do we need to see? What do they have at their lab? What do they have at their library? So you really have some time to figure that out. And it's a very easy proposal. It's a quite short review process. And I really recommend this. If you met someone somewhere, you would like to work together, you have an idea, but you're perhaps not ready yet for a research project application that takes just a lot of work. So you can use that for preparation. Then we have the research grant. Everybody who has spoken to a German researcher has perhaps known the famous German word Sachbeihilfe. This is what it's called here. This is funding for research projects, 1 to 3 years. This is our go-to instrument when it comes to bilateral projects. Can I go back? I can go back. Because many funding agencies around the world have a similar tool, and so we just pair them up. There's funding in it for staff, for PhD students, for postdocs, for non-permanent staff, for everything you need for a project, for consumables and so on. And again, the German partner has to apply for the German side of it. In many, many cases, you at your country can apply to your funding agency. And in some rare cases, the German partner could even apply for money that goes abroad. This is a special case. You come and ask me about that. But it is possible, but this is what we usually go to when it comes to multilateral research projects. I can also give you some look at the scientific networks program. This means that you build a loose knit, not a tiny knit network of 10 to 20 researchers in Germany and abroad for up to 3 years, and that gives you the opportunity to look into a topic, a method, a publication for a longer time in a greater team. And perhaps this could be the pool where smaller projects or even more focused projects develop. This is reminding me of speeding up, yeah. And we have the Walter Benjamin program. This is our mobility idea. This is a postdoc funding for 2 years. It could be the first self-made, the first project for a young postdoc, for an early career scientist to look into. And you either have to switch between institutions in Germany, or you could come in from abroad to Germany with this Walter Benjamin program. So how would you find a research partner in Germany? Because I've stressed this enough, I think, that you need someone in Germany or Germany-based. How you find a partner in real life and in the scientific area. Pre-pandemic, you would meet them somewhere at a conference like here. But yeah, these occasions have been few and far between lately. So I recommend the internet, like for partnerships worldwide. We have 3 databases which I would like to point out. Gerrit has been mentioned. This is really like a directory. You can filter down for your field of expertise. If you lost your heart to Bavaria or to Berlin, you could even filter through the institutions at a certain part of Germany. We have the GEPRIS database. This is a big database of all DFG-funded current and finished projects. So you can see, okay, who has been working perhaps internationally in my field with DFG money? So they know all the forms and all the templates and know who to call. This could be a big help here. And of course, we have the Research in Germany initiative, which is a joint initiative from several funding organizations. And Anne mentioned the website. There's also a lot of information for PhD candidates, which are a bit left out at the DFG funding, to be honest, sometimes. But this could be a good place to find out about what to do here. And then I included a lot of links and resources and the email addresses if you have any questions about eligibility or other questions. They look awfully German, but be assured they speak all English. You're absolutely welcome to write in English. That will work. And of course, you can just write me an email and I will guide you through the DFG and we can look into that together and perhaps find you a good research project with your German partner. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me. My name is Annika Gesenhus, and I'm a senior desk officer here at the DAAD office in Berlin, and I'm very happy to be here today. And I would like to give you a brief overview of selected funding opportunities the DAAD offers for postdoc researchers and PhD candidates. Let's begin in short. who we actually are, or who the DAAD is. The DAAD is, of course, among other things, one of the main funding organizations in Germany for international exchange, and one of its core focuses is the academic mobility of students and scholars aiming to study or conduct research in Germany or abroad. In order to support these students and scholars, the DAAD offers various scholarship programs. Currently, there are 103 scholarship programs offered by the DAAD for undergraduates, graduates, doctoral candidates, postdoctoral researchers, as well as faculty members. Funding includes programs with the intention of either conducting research, studying, obtaining a degree, teaching possibilities, internship possibilities, and language classes. As there are numerous DAAD funding programs and our time is limited today, I selected two of the most prominent scholarship options for PhD candidates and postdocs, which I would like to present to you today in a little more detail. These programs include the research grant, 1 year and short term, and the research grant for doctoral within the doctoral program. The research grant short-term and 1 year grant is for postdoc researchers and for doctoral candidates and young scholars who want to realize a research project at a state-recognized German university or non-university research institution. Applicants need a convincing and well-planned research and training proposal for the stay in Germany that has been agreed with an academic supervisor at the prospective German host institution in order to apply. The 1 year grant is for PhD students, is offered for 7 to maximum 12 months, and the short-term grant offered for postdoc researchers is offered for 1 month to 6 months. Currently, the value of such a scholarship is 1,200 euros per month, plus additional allowances such as health and accident and personal liability insurance, and a travel allowance. The second research grant I would like to talk about is the doctoral program in Germany. International PhD students and master graduates can realize a doctoral project individually or in a structured program at a state or state-recognized German university or non-university research institution. Applications can only be considered, and this is very important, if you have an academic host supervisor at your prospective German host university. The duration of this program is a maximum of 5 years. Grants are initially awarded for 1 year and extensions are possible. Also, the value of this scholarship is 1,200 euros currently, plus additional allowances. The DAAD scholarship database, Anna talked about it earlier today. It's the www.funding-guide.de. And I would say the DAAD scholarship database is the first digital point of contact in order to find the suitable program for your intention. It offers a list of funding programs by the DAAD as well as other funding organizations. Oh, I think we're missing one. There, sorry. This is, if you type in www.funding-guide.de, this is what pops up. And on the left, you have various selection criteria in order to filter your choices. Selection criteria include the keyword. For example, if you already know an institution you want to go to or a program, a specific program you have in mind. Then in the second column, programs for, there you select your current academic status or the one you're aiming for. For example, if you're currently a master's student and you want to pursue a doctorate program in Germany, then the country of origin. This is very important because not all countries offer the same scholarship programs. Then the subject, so the field of study, and your intention, either studying, obtaining a degree, teaching. On the bottom, there's also the box where you can say DAAD funding programs only. And I would say the scholarship database is only your initial step for submitting an application. Please bear in mind that applications vary from country to country. And for country-specific information on addresses and deadlines, please check the program websites. Applications, once you found a program that is suitable for you, the applications must be submitted through the DAAD portal, which you can access through this scholarship database. In summary, because our time is very limited, there are various scholarship programs depending on your current academic status. The DAAD scholarship database is your first digital go-to point. Review all application requirements in detail and well in advance. Application details vary from country to country, and applications are initially submitted through the DAAD portal, which can be accessed through the DAAD scholarship database. I hope I was in my 5 minutes, but thank you very much.
Good evening, everybody. I'm AJ Mohan, doing my promotion at Charité Universität Medicine, Berlin, with a stipendium from DAAD. I will try to make my testimonial in terms of DAAD fellow, but almost my slides will be a replication of what my colleague just told before. But nevertheless, I will tell my testimonial in a context of Indian. So to start with, the DAAD was first established in India in 1960, and it has a collaboration with the leading institutions in India. In all terms of science, basically from engineering to technology, and I belong to one of the institutions pertaining to science and technology, and therein I was introduced first of all for DAAD. And at that time point, I didn't know what was DAAD, and my only aim was to go to Germany, and then came the question, why Germany? Because in my field, I basically from medicine, and when I looked up in medicine field, almost all of the leading research or things that are in the nowadays the gold standard have arisen from Germany. And then I asked my professor at that time, how can I go to Germany, and what was the emphasis of DAAD? And as pointed out earlier, it is giving mobility grants for scholarship holders, basically in all terms, not only for masters, ranging from bachelor's till postdoc, and thereby they create a cooperation between universities, thereby engaging mobility, and ultimately they also engage in alumni networking, thereby promoting study and research in Germany. And now coming, and then my professor asked me, okay, now you have to search for your own grant because now you want to go to Germany. And then he just gave me this link, which my colleague just gave you all. And then I found out that there are being scholarships given for all levels of education. And I looked at the statistics. It was really quite interesting. There are totally around 149 fellowships totally available in Germany from all different organizations. And from this 150, roughly 1/3 is being handled by DAAD. And from this 1/5, a major portion goes to the masters, and second major portion goes to the doctoral. And then I was thinking, yeah, it's really 17%, and what are the chances that it gives to medicine, and why medicine? And then when I looked at the 17% distribution, DAAD had no bias towards one branch of science, and on the other hand, it has almost equal distribution, ranging from humanities to social science to arts and to medicine and engineering. Then I was convinced, okay, now I have a very good chance of getting a scholarship. And then I had the question, yeah, now what is my aim? Should I do a short-term program or should I do a long-term program? And is there a feasibility to do both? And what are the different pros and cons in selecting a program? And and then I will be now giving you an overview in terms of a medicinal perspective, if anyone is from a medicinal background. There are actually 4 different programs, and out of which one is a short stay, and it is also called a bilateral or sandwich model, wherein you can do a part-time in Germany and a part-time in your host country. And there are 2 variants, basically. It's called the binational supervision and the Kotutule, and it basically differs upon the different time points of funding and how much funding you can get, and depending upon the extension. And for this, registration is at your home university was responsible, and the maximum stay was only 2 years. And I was really convinced that the research what I was about to do was really state of the art, and then my home university didn't have the infrastructure, and the leading universities in the Germany had this one. So this was not a question for me at all. And then I wanted to do a full-time program in Germany, and then I looked up for another grant, and it was the well-established standard track called the doctoral program, for wherein I found out that it was given in all branches, not only for medicine but also in engineering. Then I thought, yeah, well, then I should have a higher chance in obtaining this grant for my project. And they had 2 different opportunities. Either I can write in my own project, which I was thinking at that time point, or also I can apply through a registered doctoral program. And but then I didn't know what was the chances of success chance rate in applying through an individual project or a doctoral program. And then I found out, yeah, then during this program, the selection is done by a local DAAD committee. That took me a step back, because my field of research was totally state-of-the-art, and of course the local DAAD committee consisted of university professors really leading in my own field. But then I asked my professor, how are the professors in the selection committee? Do they know what I talk about, or is just only an overview about what I am talking about? And he said, yeah, it's from the DAAD committee. It's usually the leading professors, but it's not necessarily for them that they should know exactly what you want to do. And then it struck me, yeah, well, then what if the professor, unluckily or unfortunately, if in my DAAD committee, he's sitting from some other field but has a little knowledge about what I'm talking, and he's not convinced about my talk or my own project. That is why I was not really convinced, should I take this program or not? And then luckily, I came upon this program, that was namely the graduate school scholarship program. And with this program, there was one advantage, is that in each university, be it medicine or engineering, or you have different graduate schools all over Germany, and these graduate schools most probably pertain to one specific region. Say, for example, in my case, it was cancer, and it was almost in colorectal cancer or abdominal cancer. And in this graduate school, all the professors were from my own field, and then I had a higher chance or higher confidence that, okay, they could exactly judge me based on my own project and what I want to do really new during my doctoral program. And that is how, and then I looked into the process. It was quite simple, that first you have to apply through the graduate school. That was the go point for me. Yeah, okay, then I have no contact, first of all, with DAAD, because I have to apply to the graduate school. And once they are convinced, they will nominate me to DAAD, okay, saying that, yeah, we are convinced with this fellow, and we would like you to give me the funding. That was really encouraging to me, because the graduate school speaks on behalf of me, and they do the selection of me based on my own project. And then I have to apply through the DAAD. And then, yeah, and also one of the another advantages is that my supervisor gets an allowance with which he can help me throughout my research career each year. And I just want to give you an overview of the different graduate schools available during this program. And I personally belong to Charité, namely Berlin School of Integrative Oncology, that is basically for cancer. And last note on postdoc. Yeah, this slide I on purpose made it in German. Yeah, that is what you all should know. Germany is really nice with research and mobility and everything, but on the other hand, they really need you to get integrated with the culture. You can be a top-class researcher, you can be the state-of-the-art, or you can come with 1,000 golden ideas that could literally take you to the top of your field, but nevertheless, unless and until you get integrated with the German culture, they really say, "Du musst auf Deutsch sprechen, du bist in Deutschland." That's vegan, yeah. So here literally states that research is fun, and DAAD makes research possible. Thank you. I will be able able to share, I will be happy to share my own experience during the question and answer session.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mohan, for promoting the German research landscape. So I'm sure you all are eager to learn more. Feel free to ask any sort of question, whatever you would like to remark or what you would like to know. Are there any first comments? Who wants to be the first? Okay, this would be your chance. I have a question. Okay? Yeah, please.
Maybe my question is, what are some of the challenges that you encountered during your research here in Germany?
In terms of infrastructure, or in terms of what challenges, as in the first challenges was like to get integrated into the lab or to get integrated into the people. And yeah, to be honest with you, it was not that much of a challenge to get integrated, because once you show that you're open to integrate with their culture, or once you show that you're open to accept the changes what they wish to see in you, they are really welcoming and they help you in getting integrated with their culture and also in the lab. So it doesn't have to be that the day when you arrive here you have to start speaking in German. You could literally say to them, yeah, I have found a course or so wherein I like to take the classes and so, and they're really encouraging, and then they start to talk with you in English, for example, in this beginning, and slowly they also help you getting integrated with the lab, and also they also help you with finding, to getting you settled here. It's just you have to be open.
If I may just interrupt, we need to use the microphones for asking and for answering, so that the guests in the live stream can hear what we're talking about.
Okay,
so don't worry, I think you both really spoke up, but we need the microphones to get channeled.
Might be easier. Yeah, thank you, Doro.
And the microphones for the questions are in the back of the room.
Okay,
Just a short reminder.
go ahead.
Perfect.
So it's a rather specific question because you're from the medical field, but maybe you can answer as well. In medicine, do you have programs in Germany that combine clinical practice and basic research, or is it like separate?
No, you could really do both clinical practice as well as basic research, but it depends upon the project which you write for. And there are many programs, or even the program which I talked about, it also helps in translational research, that you could literally do start from the mice and go to the humans, or the vice versa also. It is not specifically oriented towards clinical research or only towards preclinical research, but on the other hand, you can literally do a blend of both things.
Thank you.
Yep.
Please, go ahead.
My name is Rogers, and my question is that we talked about host universities being a link to all these possible opportunities. I once applied to for the Innovation Week, and the reason why I was declined is because my host university is a Kenyan university that is not part of all these programs. So what is the future of being able to incorporate people who are trying to bring change to society but may not have the opportunity to be linked to German institutions? And even in the event that you're linked to a German institution, how do you actually get that link without the university entirely knowing you and your background? Thank you.
You mean to ask how could I find out my university, or how could one find out whether your university is recognized?
So yes, what I'm saying is that the progression from recognizing African universities to bring up their students that are trying to create change in their societies. What is your opinion on that?
I think with DAAD programs, I think there are literally a lot of programs that I have not searched about it, but I think you do have literally a lot of programs that would enable African students in mobilizing their transport from Africa to Germany. And once they are here, I'm literally sure with DAAD, they support to you to the maximum extent possible for you to get integrated here. So say, for example, when you want to learn a language course or something, they do help you with the language course.
Thank you.
Yeah. I hope I could answer your question.
Would you like to add something?
Yeah, I would like to.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Yeah, okay. Because your question was very specific about how to realize or how to make a connection between African universities and German universities, if I understood correctly. There's this very new program by the DAAD, Leadership for Africa. This is something you could maybe look into. If you can also find it in the funding guide, on the website of the funding guide, which promotes the collaboration between African universities and their students with German universities.
Doro Fennel, you
Yeah.
would like to?
I would like. Oh, sorry. I would like to add something from the DFG perspective, because you also mentioned the idea of people building or contributing to their own society, to their own countries with their research. That's exactly the idea that we as the DFG see in our project funding. Because if everybody who's clever in doing great research comes to Germany, then we have a land full of professors and no one else to work with. So what the DFG approach to this thing would be that there should be bilateral partnerships, and everyone works on their own end. So we have really bilateral cooperations. So of course that means there's some mobility, there's something to get to know each other and coming to Germany or having guests at your home institution, but it basically means that we take the best of both worlds and the knowledge, and there are some topics that can only be researched in your countries. We cannot do anything in desert research, we cannot do so much at, I don't know, maritime life science, we don't have so much coast here. So this is why we believe in this network building and in these bilateral relations and projects. And there is always this label developing countries, which is always a bit not so nice to look at, but it gives you a lot of opportunities, because in the DFG programs, German researchers can apply for funding for their research partners in developing countries if this is the partner to go for this specific topic. So this could be an advantage for you to be the partner in a project. And I know that the Alexander von Humboldt Foundation, they have a special section of their programs. That's the Georg Forster program, which is set aside for researchers from certain countries who are competing between themselves, so that everyone has the same chance to be in these networks and to have access to these networks. And so perhaps this is an aspect to think through. How can we build international relations with many people around the world, and not only everybody coming to Germany, staying, which is great. We would love to welcome you, but we would also love to welcome you as partners abroad and as international partners for German research landscape.
Okay. Well, I think my question really is actually you've kind of touched on that, and from Rogers as well, because, and for a lot of people here who are non-Europeans, and I take this opportunity to apologise for most of the British people for Brexit.
Accepted. Okay.
But how does that, and the same would be true for, I guess, that the landscape of funding is completely separate from an EU-based perspective, and being a now non-EU country, how that affects entry into doing funding in Germany. And if that has a slightly different scope, or maybe I take a different angle because there's non-EU based funding, that maybe that is more opportunities, or if it's a certain process that needs to happen in a different way, or there's less money. Yeah. Does that have an effect? That's my question.
Should I start for
Yeah.
DFG?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, coincidentally, I took over UK because it's not part of EU anymore this summer, so I'm learning about the structures.
Yeah.
As I mentioned in my presentations, DFG itself is not setting aside money for certain regions. There are some countries in the EU context who can use other channels or who can use the structures that are given, but for DFG project, it really counts as the project excellent, and is a partner the right one for this case. And then we don't mind where you're coming from. It's about your research expertise. And yeah, we are happy to welcome UK in our programs.
You're still welcome. So
Everyone is welcome.
Yes.
Is it
Are we
working?
still on time?
Yeah, we're
Anne
still on
Knapp is
time.
our chief of schedule today.
There's a question from the chat. So there was somebody asking, because we also have participants that participate in the chat, online in the chat, and the question is, I don't know who of you would like to answer it. There is somebody who is interested in doing research in Germany, but she knows that she has to find a host institution first, and perhaps you could give her some recommendations how to find the host institution, how to approach it, how to convince them. Yeah, perhaps some words about that. Thanks.
This is the question as a master student I once asked my professor at that time. The advice he gave me was, so as you know, there are plenty of universities available in Germany, and you have to pick one host from this. And you don't know who is the leading author or who is the leading professor in your field, and so. And the advice from my professor was to go into the leading journal in your own research field. Say, for example, I don't know what journal, for example, yeah, JAMA or something. And then there you can list out the authors based upon the region from there they are publishing, and then you could look after the research field they are into, and then you can contact them through the correspondence. So this was the advice. Yeah, of course you have to put in 100 emails, and probably you might get one email in reply as a response, but then you will have to just, it's like a hit and trial error. You have to just keep putting in emails and asking for collaboration, or just introducing you that you have an interest in doing research at his own at his lab and so, and then if he is interested to take in with you, and yeah, that's how it works in my experience.
Please feel free to add any comment.
For the DAD, for example, we have about 68 regional offices, which is a good starting point as well. I would say that you could contact them in your region or in your country and ask for an information one-on-one and to exchange, and they could help you. But I would say initially, Google, yeah. Type in your field of study, look at the top, or look at the universities which offer your field of study, and then I would definitely agree, write emails.
Yeah, because I would say this comes secondary, because the question was how to find the host, because, and with the regional centers, even I tried the same, but you know, they can help you only with the funding programs, or you know, if I say, okay, what are the leading universities in Bavaria, they might say, oh, you can go to LMU or you can go to TU Munich. But if I ask you people who is the leading author from TU Munich, they say, we don't know. Of course you don't know. Yeah, I would say that, yeah, probably you might have to look through the research and in the area where one is leading and which area you are interested in, and then probably after then you can contact DFG or DAAD saying, okay, I have some people here, and now do I have a funding for this lab or something. Then I think you will be of helpful. But to find a host, I would say none of the agencies could help. In fact, it has to be on a personal hit and trial error, because of course I don't blame you guys, because of course you can't know who is leading in all aspects. For example, I call you at 10 o'clock and ask for medicine, and then half an hour later another guy calls you and asks for, yeah, let me know about engineering. Of course you can't tell that who is leading in engineering and who's leading in medicine. It's up to you to find out. Yeah, one of the good ways is like, yeah, Google for sure. Now with technological advancement, you just type in top 10 leading universities in Germany, then comes 10 top leading universities, and then you can go into the universities and then search for a specific lab or a specific, say for example, in engineering nanoparticle production or something, and then you will find different universities which are dealing with nanoparticles, and then you'll have to choose one of the guys who's leading the department or who has a similar interest in your own research, and then you have to approach him, and then how it goes on. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, there are two reasons why we cannot and must not do this matchmaking. First of them is we cannot just assign people to certain professors, because then they would never speak to us again. If you just would, you know, send them 20 applications per day to say, hey, there are people who are interested working with you. And the other thing is we don't know them, and you're absolutely right about it, because we don't know what you are doing. you know what you are doing in your research, and the super high important speaker of all important conferences in the world could be super famous for what he's doing, but is perhaps not the right partner for you. Perhaps the postdoc in his lab somewhere is the one that helps you with your career and with your research. And I'm very sorry, but you have to find these people on your own. And you can do it by, you're absolutely right, going through literature, look at the conferences, look at the databases. And these are great because you see what they have done in the past. What did they do? Is there something you can connect to? And then and I agree, this is a special task of getting the connection to German researchers, and they all get an awful lot of emails every day. So the only advice is be interesting. And don't be interesting with attaching 10 CVs and 20 awards and so on, but say, hey, I see you're working in the same field that I do, and perhaps I'm not covering all that you do, but I have this one special idea, or I have this one data set, or I can have done this and that, and I see the connection here. Make them curious. And this is the path to connect them. And speaking as a German, be short. Yeah. That's something we all, at the International Affairs Department, we all love getting these emails. We say, well, good day from Nairobi, it's wonderful here, the weather is great, I hope you're doing well, I hope this email finds you well. And I have this idea. Front load a bit. We can take it because we tend to be a bit more short, and afterwards go into the nice emails. Then they will be appreciated. But really bring your message across. Hey, I can do something. We can do something together. This is my project. This is interesting. How about working together? And then you can also point out funding ideas, or you can point out DFG has this, I'm talking about DFG here a lot, but DFG has this initiation tool, for example, which will cost you only a short application, but then we have some time to look into opportunities. Make them a bit curious and bring something, hey, it could work because I already know how to fund this, or I already have an idea whom to ask. And so you build it from two ways. I'm interested and I know how to do it, and that should give you some speed in that, some power.
Okay, thank you very much. As Anne-Knap just pointed out, we unfortunately don't have any more time right now for more questions, but there will be time after the second session. So I would like to close this session right now. But let me first say, Mr. Mohan, thank you very much for sharing all your experiences with us. That was very helpful and very vivid. So I was wondering, how hard is it to learn German? I mean, I heard you speaking already, so that was, don't be afraid of the German language. That's my message.
As I said, it's not hard. German language in itself is hard. But yeah, but yes, if you have really good connections, or say, for example, if you say to your colleagues or the real German friends that, okay, I want to learn German and please help me do it, then they are really welcoming to help you learn German. They correct you every single time, and they're not tired of correcting you. Yeah, seriously, because when I started the first year, I was like asking what every single time, and they were just repeating the words, and then gradually you start to pick it up, and you, of course, when you are learning a new language, you do a lot of mistakes, and even I was I still do a lot of mistakes, but nevertheless, they are really helpful in correcting you, and they say, this is not the way that has to be said, and they encourage. So in my lab, how it works is like, yeah, of course, scientific, it's better that we keep it in English, because then it's difficult for me to explain to them what I wish to do in terms of my project. But on the other hand, general small talks, it's always now in German. That is what I find a bit difficult in Berlin. Yeah, Berlin in one aspect is really international. You can make good connections and stuff. But the moment they see you that you are you come from a foreign land, they say, how are you? Yeah, but if you go to, say, for example, Bayern, they say, wie geht es Ihnen? Although they know that you come from a different land, they don't switch to English. They stick to the German, and in a way, I find it really good that if you go into the deeper parts of Germany, it's easier to learn German as staying in Berlin, I find. Yeah, of course, it has a pro and con here. You can do more networking and stuff, but if you are interested in learning a language, go inside.
Okay, thank you very much. You are a very good ambassador. We should hire you. Okay, Annika Gesenhuus, Doro Fendel, thank you very much also for your insightful presentation. That was very informative. Thank you very much. And as I said, if there are more questions after the second session, there's always a time slot. So I just heard we cannot have a bio break right now, but we might want to open another window just for the sake of it, and then we go for the second session. Thank you very much, guys.
No, why is my hello? Hello? I'm sorry, that was a misunderstanding. Katrin Kroos said we can't have a bio break. I'm sorry, because there is an online audience watching as well. I mean, of course, you can have your own personal bio break, but the program is proceeding now. Sorry for this misunderstanding. It's because we don't want to let the ones that are online with us, let them waiting for too long. So, but of course you can move if you want to, if you need to, no problem. But now the next program point starts, which is, program point where the big four research institutions will also shortly present themselves. And my colleague Carolina Wienand, she's not the first one, but she just arrived. Her flight landed an hour ago, I think. It had a delay. I would like to now kindly ask our panelists from the next session to the stage, which is Katrin Kriebel from the Max Planck Society, Samuel Krug from the Leibniz Association, Alexandra Rosenbach from the Helmholtz Association, and Carolina Wiener from the Fraunhofer Society. And we will start with the Max Planck Society. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Hannah and I will give you a brief glimpse into the Max Planck Society, who we are and what we are doing. Sorry, the presentation? I don't know why. Sorry. Okay. As you already heard, the Max Planck Society, we are conducting basic research in the fields of natural sciences, life science, and humanities. And we are guided by the principle of insight must precede application. This is a quote from our namesake, Max Planck. So we were founded in 1948, and since then we established 86 Max Planck Institutes, that's where the research is actually conducted, in Germany, 5 Max Planck Institutes abroad, and then also we have like Max Planck centers worldwide. And as you can see, we're currently employing up to 8,000 junior scientists and have 146 startups, although we do basic research, and as of very recently, we can say that we have 22 Nobel laureates in the ranks, from the ranks of our scientists. Another another guiding principle of our society is the Harnack principle, which basically puts the researchers and the scientists in the focus, which means that we are not guided by programs, but really by the interests of the scientists, the interest they want to conduct their science in the way and the, in the area they choose to. So this is what guides us. Our science is conducted in 3 sections, as you can see. First, there's the biology and medicine section, which kind of encompasses everything from immune biology to plant research and physiology. Then there is the third section, which is chemistry, physics, and the technology section. There you have everything encompassing astronomy to computer science and mathematics. And also the human science section, where you have cultural studies and social science and up to linguistics. As I said, our research is conducted in the Max Planck Institutes. As you can see here, they are spread all over Germany, although our headquarters is in Munich. Our institutes are all over Germany, and also, as I mentioned before, we have institutes and associated institutes abroad as well. I'll skip this. And of course, we are also present globally, as you can see here. These are our partner institutes and the associations that we work together with currently. Of course, we're also fostering scientific potential. And one of the way we're doing it, and also like a career perspective for young scientists, are the International Max Planck Research Schools. So if you want to do a PhD with us, you can do this as one of our graduate schools. There we work together with German universities, 36 German universities as of now, and together with the Max Planck Institute. So if you're interested, I would advise you to go to our website and see which one of the Max Planck Institutes actually are in the field of your interest, and see if they have a graduate school as well, and then go to their website and contact the coordinators for this graduate school. Another program that we're currently piloting are the Max Planck schools. And this is a new approach to the graduation system in Germany. We're doing this actually together with 24 universities and also with the other 3 of the major 4 German research organizations. These are interdisciplinary graduate schools in the piloting in the fields of cognition, matter to life, and photonics at the moment. And so the idea here is that you don't do your research just on one location in Germany, but you're actually connected through fellows with all the excellent professors, scientists in that area all over Germany. So it's not like you do your research at one university, at one Max Planck Institute, but you can basically, as the map shows, during your research hop on into all the fellows in this area. And so this is kind of like a unique ecosystem for the best research the best researchers and institutions in Germany. We are piloting this at the moment, heading it, but as I said, we're doing this in collaboration with the other research organizations in Germany. Another way or another career perspective within Max Planck is for those who already hold a doctoral degree to enter the Max Planck Research Group. As a leader in the Max Planck research groups. And as you can see here, this is also like a very good starting point for a career at the Max Planck Society in the Max Planck Institutes. Currently there are 194 Max Planck research groups existing at the moment. Yeah. So this was a very brief insight on who we are. I'm really looking forward to interacting with you afterwards in the networking session, and I'm ready for questions here at the panel. Thank you.
So, good afternoon. My name is, can you hear me? Yep, perfect. So my name is Samuel Krug. I'm a desk officer for international affairs at the headquarters of the Leibniz Association. And I'm going to present you quite briefly who we are and what we're doing. So the Leibniz Association is an umbrella organization that was founded in the 1990s. It's an association of 96 independent research institutes, including 18 research infrastructure facilities and 8 research museums. You might know some of them, for example, the German Museum in Munich, or the Museum for Natural History here in Berlin, which you're going to visit. Our financial volume is about 2 billion euros annually, and we have around 20,000 employees. Half of them are scientists from PhD level to full professors. And our institutes are evaluated every 7 years in order to maintain the high level of academic excellence. And as I said, the institutes are independent, meaning especially in a legal sense and also in financial questions. And we have a headquarters in Berlin. That's where I work. But the institutes themselves are spread all over Germany. So from Hamburg to Munich, you will find them everywhere. We cover a broad spectrum of topics and disciplines. We have 5 sections. You can see them here on the slide. So section A is humanities, section B is social sciences, section C is life sciences, section D is natural sciences and engineering, and section E is the environmental sciences. And we do both basic research and applied research. And just to give you a few examples of our institutes, we have the Bernhard Nocht Institute for Tropical Medicine in in Hamburg. We have the Potsdam Institute for Climate Impact Research in Potsdam, obviously, and the Leibniz Institute for Jewish History and Culture in Leipzig. And what is rather important for us is that all of those institutes, they work together. So interdisciplinarity is one of the main foci of the Leibniz Association, and one tool to achieve interdisciplinarity are the Leibniz Research Alliances. Each research alliance deals with a certain topic. For example, in the Research Alliance Healthy Aging, institutes from the field of medicine, from the field of social sciences, from the field of economics work together on the question how healthy aging can be achieved. And we know that the excellent research can only be done by excellent researchers. Therefore, career support is rather important to us. And here again, we have different tools to achieve this. We have a dissertation award, we have a PhD network, we have a postdoc network where people from the respective groups come together, share their experiences, get some kind of mentoring and training. Mentoring is a huge part of our career support. And of course, you can do a PhD at the Leibniz Institute as part of a Leibniz graduate school or as a part of a Leibniz science campus. And I would like to highlight 2 programs that might be particularly interesting for you. The first would be the Leibniz Junior Research Group program, where you can, as a young postdoc, meaning only 5 years after your PhD, can gain experience in leadership and academia for a period of 5 years with a budget of 1.7 million euros. And the second program would be the program for female professors, which offers permanent or tenure-track positions for excellent female researchers. That's it very briefly. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to get in contact, ask questions afterwards. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me. Yes, so next up is the Helmholtz Association. Hi, my name is Alexandra. I work here in the head office in Berlin as coordinator for international affairs, and I'm happy to be here today and present Helmholtz to you very, very briefly. So Helmholtz is also one of the 4 non-university research organizations. We're actually the largest in terms of staff and budget. We have 5 billion euros a year, 90% of which come from the federal government, and we have over 42,000 staff. We're named after Hermann von Helmholtz, who actually celebrates his 200th birthday this year. He was born in 1821, and he's considered one of the first universal scholars in Germany. He was a physician, but also a physicist. He also had a huge interest in the arts. So So he was really always working in a very interdisciplinary manner, and this is also really one of the cornerstones of the association's work still today, working together across the boundaries of disciplines and of national borders. So we also, of course, want to provide a highly attractive environment for brilliant brains from all over the world, just like you. We are highly international. We also have 4 international offices in Brussels, Tel Aviv, Beijing, and Moscow. So if you happen to be from one of those cities or countries, of course, you can also always contact our offices there for further information. Another thing that sets us apart from the other research organizations is the fact that we maintain large-scale research infrastructures. Maybe you've heard of the Polarstern and the Alfred Wegener Institute. The Polarstern, Polar Star, is a research vessel, an icebreaker that went into the Arctic in October 2019 until October 2020 on a once-in-a-lifetime unique mission. They were attached to an ice floe and actually drifted across the North Pole for the very first time that this was done to collect data in the Arctic winter. It was a huge international mission with more than 20 countries actually involved, and it really makes a massive contribution to research in climate change. So that's just one example of large-scale research infrastructure that we have at Helmholtz. But also things such as Earth observation satellites, particle accelerators, synchrotron radiation sources, wind tunnels, etc., etc. So the large-scale research infrastructure is a specialty of Helmholtz, and it also attracts a lot of guest scientists from all over the world. We have almost 10,000 guest scientists coming to us every year to work on this infrastructure. That was, of course, before Corona, so we hope that after the pandemic we can pick up again with real physical mobility. We have 6 research fields that we work in. You can see them here on this slide. As you can tell, this is pretty much basic research in the natural sciences, energy, earth and environment, health, aeronautics, space and transport, matter and information. Those are the 6 research fields that our centers work in. We have 18 centers all over Germany. They are highly interdisciplinary and also work with each other, of course. They are color-coded here according to the research fields that you can see again in the top right box. And maybe you've never heard of Helmholtz before. I won't blame you. We don't have a huge name significance or a recognition actually abroad, unfortunately, but you surely have heard of some of our centers before. For instance, if you're in cancer research, you will know the German Cancer Research Center in Heidelberg, for instance, which is number 10 on the map. Or if you are working in physics, particle physics or astrophysics, then you will surely have heard of DAAD before, which is in Hamburg, the German electron synchrotron. I mentioned the Alfred Wegener Institute for Polar Research in Bremerhaven before. We also have the KIT, the Karlsruhe Institute of Technology, as member of our association, the Research Center in Jülich, and also the German NASA, the German Aerospace Center with its headquarters in Cologne. They're also a member of Helmholtz. And this is already my last slide, and I'm sure we will also have some more opportunities to talk individually later during the coffee break or also during the panel discussion, but I just want to give you a very brief glimpse into possibilities working at Helmholtz. If you're interested after what you heard, you can check out our website. The link is given below, helmholtz.de/CLP. That's our central career page. There's also our vacancy database that will give you an overview of all the current vacancies in all the 18 centers. And of course, the first step in general would be to identify the right center for your background. I'm also very happy to advise you about that individually if you like. My email address will also be given on the final slide that I will show you in just a minute, so feel free to contact me anytime. I'm happy to help or do some matchmaking for you. So that's the first step, to actually have a look again at the individual centers and ask yourself, where do I fit in? And then you can look if there's a vacancy open. We also have a lot of postdoc vacancies on an ongoing basis. However, there are also 2 funding programs that I would just briefly like to mention here, and you can have a look on our website for some more information. We have annual calls in the Helmholtz Young Investigator Groups. That's a program that's quite similar to the one that Samuel also presented for Leibniz, and also similar to the DFG's Emmy Noether program. This is for young postdocs who have 2 to 6 years of postdoc postdoc experience and who are very motivated to work on their own research topic and who have international experience, which of course you all do. So that's already a great prerequisite for an application. You can get 300,000 euros of funding per year for a total funding period of 5 years if you're successful in this program. It's always in very close collaboration with a local university. That's also something that we do, of course, because you may know that in Germany, the non-university research organizations cannot give out degrees. So if you do a PhD or if you supervise a PhD, for instance, this will always be done in close collaboration with a partner university. So if you are successful and if you become a young investigator group leader in Helmholtz, you will automatically also have a junior professorship at a partner university, and you will also have some teaching obligations there. And we also have a program for female talent, the Helmholtz Distinguished Professorships, to increase the number of female professors in Helmholtz. That's also another program that we run with central funding. And again, you can also find the information on the website. So without further ado, this is my final slide. Here's my email address. Feel free to take a picture and send me an email if you have any further questions. And of course, we may also have an opportunity to chat later on. Thank you so much. And now I will give the floor to Fraunhofer.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity of speaking after this beautiful English presentation. I will give my best, and I'm happy to be here after more than 2 hours of delay with my flight. My name is Carolina. I'm from Fraunhofer Association, not Fraunhofer Society, sorry, and we are the society with 75 institutes in Germany who does only applied research. So what we do, we work together with the industry. We have 29,000 people work in Fraunhofer internationally, but also nationally. And just to give you a short introduction to how it works in Germany with the research organization, where we are located, because actually you have already heard the presentation from Max Planck, from Leibniz and Helmholtz, and to see where Fraunhofer is located. So we are more industry-driven, and we work for the needs of the industry. So what we do is applied research in the fields that the industry needs and asks us. This is approximately the current map. It changes every day, it seems, because we have now 75 institutes, but tomorrow it can be 76. We are located in all over Germany, as you can see, and also, like in the other organizations, we have autonomous institutes. So they work in their own research field. They're very autonomous in what they do and with who they do it. As you can see as well on the slide, that we have 2/3 that comes from the industry or from other funds. So we are not funded completely by the government, but just 1/3, and the rest has to come from the industry or also from European programs, which can be of every kind. Here just to show you a little bit of our international network. So we are mostly located in Europe, but we are also located in South America, in North America, in Asia and in Africa just in the south. But maybe you happen to come from a country which is shown here, so also feel free to contact the colleagues over there. We have affiliates in Santiago, for example, in Chile, or research institutes in Brazil, so just to mention some of them, and we have also representative office in the Asian countries. These are the fields of research, so what you can see here, mobility, energy, security, production, communication, health and environment. So this is just a very, let's say, it's just, you know how it is, it's just a name, it is just a very how do you say that? It's not very specific. So in every of these fields, there can be a very, very specific field of research, which I won't mention here. But as you can see, 75 institutes, they are very specified in their research fields. So if you are interested in working at Fraunhofer or in conducting research at Fraunhofer, you have different possibilities doing it at Fraunhofer, and also afterwards, if you want to go to the industry or you want to continue in the academia, you can see
Here you can, for example, begin as a student assistant or also do your master's degrees, a PhD or a postdoc program. And then depending on what you want, you can continue at Fraunhofer becoming, maybe this is the highest step, a director of an institute, but you can also go to the industry, earn a little bit more of money, but doing there the applied work. You can also create an own spin-off, a startup company. This is a possibility we offer at Fraunhofer as well. So if you are a scientist working at an institute and later want to apply what you learned, what you have discovered in a spin-off, you can do that as well with an opportunity we offer at Fraunhofer as well. Yes, just short information about that. So you can begin as well with an internship or as a student assistant, as I already said, or you begin with a direct placement as a scientist. Have a look at our career page here, fraunhofer.de/career. There are a lot of open positions in different fields, so you can also work in administration, for example, being a researcher as well. And I will just go through some of the Fraunhofer programs we have. As we are not a funding organization, we do have programs, but they are not very open to everybody. So there is the Talenta program, which is only for female scientists. So as you have already realized in Germany, we are supporting women a lot in research because there is still a lack of experienced female executives. So that's what Fraunhofer does as well. You can see here who is the target group. I won't read all of it. You can take a picture or maybe you received the presentation afterwards. Okay, so I will just give you a short introduction. Then we have the Attract program, which is for people who want to become a research group leader. This is also a possibility for people already working at Fraunhofer, but also coming from the outside. And then the support I already mentioned from the department Fraunhofer Venture. There they support you to create your own spin-off with your idea, and they can also help you to work more together with the industry, or as I already said, become your own company manager. Yeah, that's all. My name is Caroline. I'm the one below. If you don't recognize me, the one. Yes, I was a little bit younger on this picture. The other person is Nicole. She is responsible for recruiting, and if you have questions about career possibilities at Fraunhofer, you can ask her, but if you have just general questions, you can ask me. Thank you.
Yeah. A big thank you to all our speakers. I think that was really interesting. And now there's your opportunity again to ask questions now. But of course, after that, we will have a coffee break, and you can also ask them just questions while drinking your coffee. So is there a question right now? Okay.
Hello. Hello, yes. So firstly, congratulations to Germany and MPI for the Nobel this year. And my question is, so you spoke, all of these associations, you spoke about medium to long-term career opportunities, but are there specific programs? Fraunhofer, in the end, there was a slide about spin-offs. So are there specific programs for short-term translational research? So let's say startups or research that has already been done, let's say, not in Germany, where partners from, let's say, other countries can apply to come here and develop products or their research ideas. And the second thing is, are there any specific programs for science outreach that can be applied for by people from other countries who are not in Germany at this point of time? Thanks.
Thank you for your question. Regarding the first question, there is no special program for these people. So if you want to collaborate with somebody creating a spin-off or create a spin-off yourself, you can just get in contact with the department I already mentioned, but there is not a special program. There is a program to prepare you for the market. So you can have like, I think it's half a year, a program where you can learn about market research and how you can implement your product on the market.
but not something related to the collaboration you asked for. The second question, I haven't understood one word, research for what? Sorry.
Yeah, so basically I was asking, are there programs for science outreach, science communication, science mediation?
I don't have an answer for that. I think at Fraunhofer at least there are not.
Just to get that question right, you mean if you're looking for a program that would support the sort of any kind of communication or marketing features around the research that you do, or?
Right.
Yeah. Well, no, we also actually don't have that at Helmholtz. Well, of course, we have departments that take care of science communication within our own, you know, things that we do within our own projects. Of course, there's a lot happening there. There are whole departments dedicated to that, but not for external people. Actually, the same goes in the case of Helmholtz for the first question. We do support innovation, transfer, and spin-offs, but only within the Helmholtz context. So for researchers that are already working for Helmholtz, and we want to incentivize them to market their idea or to take their idea to the industry. Right. So not for external scientists.
For the second question, I mean, do you have, let's say, I don't know, doctoral programs or master's programs or some research programs which aid in science communication? Because, I mean, I know for a fact that in France there are programs in institutes which are devoted towards science communication. So this was my question, if there are these kind of emerging things in Germany or not. But
I'm pretty sure that universities offer that. I mean, all the non-university research organizations that are here in the panel, we don't actually offer study programs. Right. So with us, the entry level is actually PhD. That's what sets us apart from the universities. But maybe the colleagues from DAAD have a tip regarding the science communication programs. I mean, there's a database also for study programs on the website.
I think for study programs, I also would just recommend to have a look at the funding guide. Or my colleague Annika has something to add? No. Okay, then.
But here in Berlin, actually the university, I don't know if it is which of both, but there is one university offering a master's degree in science communication, as far as I know. The technical, the TU, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
No, thanks. Yeah, go ahead, thanks. Further question.
Okay. Thanks for your presentation, that was really nice. One information just for the guy who sent a message in the chat asking about how to send an email to the professor. Just please, he has to provide in the subject that he is specifying that he is asking for a DAAD funding, because the professors receive lots of emails from us, from students asking for PhD positions. However, if you are asking for a fund, that just specify in the email in order to get it right from the professor. And then asking the panel, thanks for the presentation. I would like to ask if, of the programs of funding startups, and how can I apply for these programs? And if I'm having a product, how can I reach the customers? Even if I'm not applying for a funding, how can I reach customers, or how can I find the customers for any product? Oh, there is no.
Well, actually, that's a very specific question. So how the program works, you feel free to write me an email and I will send you all the information, because I'm not from this department, so I just know that there is a program supporting you for half a year or a year and to show you how you can reach the customers. So I can't tell, but actually you get all the preparation you need for what you ask for.
Okay, thank you. Are there any further questions right now? Because I just had a look in the chat, there are also no further questions. Then many thanks just to all of you, especially the panelists, but also you. Okay, and first of all, because now I would like to say that the lecture now, the official part of the lecture now ends. We will have a coffee break right after my last words now. But the live stream for the online audience is ending now, and that's why I just also would like to thank the online audience very much for joining us. It was also a pleasure to have you with us, and yeah, goodbye to you. And of course, you know where to contact us, so we're looking forward to hearing from you. And now I think I have to stop the stream. One moment.